Hi, this video covers off creating a new audience in the MailChimp account. We're starting off in the dashboard, and from here in the top menu we can go to our audience. Audience is the new name for lists for those of you who have used MailChimp in the past. To access our audiences, we click on the right hand side Manage Audience, and at the bottom we have View Audiences. Okay, now you'll see there's an audience or list that's already been created. This happens automatically when you set up your MailChimp account, and you can use this one, but for the purpose of this exercise we're going to create a new audience. Now we'll prompt you to use tags in your existing audience, but we'll cover off tags later on. Okay, so from here it asks us to enter a few details, which I'll do now. Okay, so you can see I filled in the audience name. This is important because this will appear on every email that goes out. So it's important that you put something which is nice for people to see on their emails. The default from email address, this is the default when you're setting up a new campaign. This is the email address that it will use, but you can override this. But it is important that you have access to this email account, because you will be asked to verify it before you're able to send out emails. The default from name is the name that will appear on the email at the top, so this is what they will see, masking the email address. And then down here it's asking us to remind people why they're receiving this communication. So just put something meaningful in there. Again, this goes on the bottom of every email, so it's important to have relevant information in there because your customers will see it. Your contact information, on the bottom of the email it will have your contact information. So when you set up the email address, it would have asked you to put in your address details. It's important to put in the information that you want your customers to see. Okay, just scrolling further down this audience setup list, this is where we have the defaults for the sign up process. Now I always activate enable double opt-in. Double opt-in is where if someone subscribes to your mailing list, they will then receive an email back asking them to confirm that they want to join your list. This helps you to be GDPR compliant because it proves that they have actually subscribed from their own email address. I'm also going to click on the Enable GDPR fields. This is the standard text that goes onto your sign-up form to become GDPR compliant. You'll see that when we look at sign-up forms. Down here we have notifications. Now they're being sent automatically to the info, to my email address that I set the account up on. And we can either have a daily summary, which so once a day get an email saying who's subscribed and unsubscribed. Obviously if nobody subscribed or unsubscribed, that email isn't generated. Or you can have one by one notifications as they happen. And then we will save that. Okay, now this has created our audience. Now at the moment we have no contacts in there, but it is giving us the option to import contacts or create a sign-up form. Now if we import contacts, we have to be wary of the GDPR impact, because we are adding names to our list or audience, and we have no way of proving that they physically signed up to that. So from a GDPR perspective, we wouldn't be compliant by importing contacts. But saying that, it is a good way of actually setting up a list, mailing them to ask them to subscribe to your list, so they can actually give them a link to subscribe to a new list. We're going to cover off sign-up forms in a little while. You can also add contacts manually by clicking on Add Contacts, Add a Subscriber, and you can do that manually. Obviously, again from a GDPR perspective, you need to be able to prove that that person has asked to be added to this list. Okay, so that's your list set up. Once it's been set up, you can still make changes. So if we go to the settings section, we have at the top here audience name and defaults. So we'll click on that, and this is where you can see the information we've already set around the audience name, double opt-in, GDPR, and campaign defaults, for example. So we can go through here and we can change anything we want at any time. You can see down here that I haven't yet verified that email address, so it won't allow me to send. So I'm going to click on verify, and it will send an email to that address for me to verify, which I'll do now. Okay, when you receive the email, it will have a link on there for you to verify, or it will give you a code that you can copy and paste. I've chosen the email link, so that's now verified. Okay, so I've verified that, and you can now see that there's no error message coming up beside the from address. Okay, there are some other settings in here you can have a look at, but most of this we can do from within the sign up forms or from within a campaign, so we're not going to look at that now. So that is your first audience setup, or the other one is your reCAPTCHA. It's always worthwhile putting CAPTCHA on any sign up form to prevent robots sending thousands of subscribe requests automatically to your account, so always use CAPTCHA where it's available. Okay, that's the end of this video, and we'll cover off sign up forms and the other functions shortly.